So, well, appreciate you doing this, Rogelio. I appreciate you sitting down. I've known, since we've worked together, you've told me bits and pieces in the story, and I actually thought it was really good. I know there's certain things we aren't going to talk about on the podcast, but you've got a really cool story, at least I think. So I guess give everybody a rundown on yourself, who you are, what you do.
Well, thank you, Tony. Thank you. Yeah, it is a pleasure knowing you and hanging out with you and knowing your family. Yeah, you're right. A little bit the story about me. I've been telling you pieces, but we all have a little bit or a lot. We all have a story to tell. Sometimes we just don't think it that way, but we do. Especially now, being this far for me in my life, and this far. Being my age.
26, right?
Again, yeah. So if you appreciate it, because I discovered that, I appreciate being this far. Sometimes we don't appreciate how far we are, whatever the way you want it, and not really the way you want it to be, but we are this far, and that's important. That's important that God gives us the opportunity to be this far, and then so, it sounds like shit, but every day is great opportunity, and we have to live it like it's the last one. So I like it how far we make it. So I'm happy about it, and I can tell you a little bit about me.
Yeah, let's do it. I guess a brief recap is just basically you grew up in Mexico.
Yeah, correct. I moved here 25 winters ago, so I was I was 20. When I moved back here. But before that, all my childhood, of course, is in Mexico. And right in front, I tell you what, it was a very hard process to leave everything behind.
What was it like growing up in Mexico?
Yeah, it's a good question. But now compared with here, it's different. It's full of challenge, full of challenge. I grew up with I know you want to hear about my dad.
I do want to hear it so bad.
Yeah, I just want to tell you, hey, I'm here 25 winters ago, and then because somebody had to buy the bullet. And what I mean with that, I will get that to the point in a moment, Tony, but because growing up with my grandparents, want to help them, growing up with my aunts, raising me, I want to keep it back. So first was why I'm here, because I want to help my family. It's one of the reasons I left Mexico. Even though I have a decent job, but I want to help them faster. I want to gain some time and help them financially and build them a house or do something. And that's why I decided to leave everything behind and come over here, because in my childhood, growing up with my parents, it was a challenge because I met my mom when I was probably 8 or 9, so like the age of my younger son. I saw her a couple of times thinking it was my aunt, but then finally one day told me, "No, that's your mom." Like, my grandma's like, "I'm not your mom, I'm your grandma." Like, okay. But I don't want to go back with her because she wants to take me back. By the time she have already 2 or 3 kids, which are my brothers.
Your mom?
My mom. And no, I don't want it to go back. And to be honest, my grandpa don't want me to leave either, because I sneak behind on the bed, and they having this conversation. I'll share something that I never shared with anybody, and I heard my grandpa say, "Oh," because it was me and my sister who grew up with my grandpa, and my grandpa, pretty hardworking man. I love him a lot. All I know is he teach me, which is believe in God and work hard. He said, "Oh, you can take the girl, but you don't take the boy, because now you see the boy is older, so you want him because he's gonna help you to work." And my grandpa, he wants me to stay so I can help him. So I don't want to let him down. I didn't take it as a bad. Anyone probably can take it as bad, because my grandpa was kind of like ambitions to have me there so I can help him to work. He literally told my mom, "Oh, you see the boy now stronger, and now you want him back? No, the boy stays."
So you're hiding in the room while they're having this conversation.
So I'm like, oh, shoot. And again, I get like heartbroken, like, what's going on with me? What's gonna be with my life? So always wondering a little bit. But since that, I want to prove my grandpa that I can do something, So So I worked since 8. By the time 8 or 9, already started working on the weekends with my uncles.
What'd your uncles do?
Selling shoes. They used to sell shoes.
You were a salesman at 8 years old?
Yeah, I didn't want to, but then we go to different markets and like and it was fun. Now I see it was a lot of fun. Like my uncle's like, you have to talk to customers like this, tell them this, and I'm like, I was shy. Like, no, I don't want to do that. But and then one day I said, okay, I'm gonna talk. So I talked to them and to the customers and the markets, like, hey, come here, get some shoes, let's try free try, no compromise, blah blah. And I had to talk like that. And I was like embarrassed myself, but that was my career, basically, without even know. So do a parenthesis. God give us challenge or hard times because it's preparing you for something better later on. So, and this parenthesis, what I'm trying to say is like God was preparing me for this far. And now I appreciate it more than I understand, because I was wondering. So back to the story, like I was wondering what I was gonna be with my life and what I'm gonna do. And my grandpa thinking I was gonna be this and that with bad habits because of the friends they have and all that. And I do have friends, a lot of friends, but always kind of hanging out too, because always a lot of bad kids,
Mischief.
Yeah, they just wanna fight sometimes in the back in the childhood. Always alone and always tell me, don't come back to this street because we'll beat you up. So I want to see how bad it is. So I go on the street and
How old were you?
10, 12, yeah. It gets more rough when I was 14, but it never bothers me. Like, hey, we have to fight, yeah. So rough childhood, but yeah,
No kidding.
we
And it was just like, there was fights because it's just kids were fighting?
because
or-
kids are fighting. We even have to make. I gotta be careful with this. No, I did.
Yeah.
I did tell them already. I tell my kids we have a game. Now that my wife make fun of me and they say it's a club, and I said it was a club. They don't understand. So my wife, it was a club, and I said no, it wasn't in a club because we have to kind of defend ourselves. So in the school, from like 3rd grade all the way to 5th grade, we have 6th grade, we have our game because we kind of have to defend yourself on the school. That's one rough area, and then the neighborhood is another rough area. I hang out with everybody in the neighborhood, and it was not like bad kids, but soccer gets you in trouble sometimes, or I don't know, being you gets you in trouble. So always have a lot of situations. Anyway, in the school we have the game, but we want to defend the kids. They can't defend themselves, and that's why we make the game, But it was kind of serious stuff. I was fighting every day after school. There was a good show every day. It was tons of people until the teachers come and separate people and then break apart. But yeah.
The kids would some kids would just beat up on the other kids for no reason?
Yeah, sometimes they just bullying.
Oh.
But we managed the bullying different back in the day.
No kidding. So you were like the school cop.
Kinda, but yeah.
Little on the gray area.
we correct. We try to make sure nobody gets bullied. If you get bullied, then we defend her. But we don't know what it was bullying back in the day, which is like being kids, or fight for the girls too. It was one time somebody beat me up because of a girl. And I didn't think it was gonna be bad, but this kid underestimated, and he broke my nose.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that was the only time. Yeah, but that was the only time. Anyway, it was very interesting growing up in Mexico, playing soccer and all that. Right when I was 14, 15, I have a friend. He's like 13. He's like, you need to stop because trouble always kind of look for me. I try to be very decent kid, but they always look for me. So he pays for me to go to discipline school. Like, what I mean with that is like, Kung Fu. He's like, you're gonna get hurt. You should don't do this and do that. I'm like, nah, I'll be fine. Like, well, you need at least to learn how to defend yourself better. All right. But he put me in this school, which I really appreciated. Gives me some discipline, Kung Fu. And I was there for a couple of years or so. And then later on I moved to Taekwondo, which is good because they give you a lot of discipline and more than teach you how to fight. It's more how to control yourself and learn about yourself and learn how to just get disciplined. It's not all about getting a fight. It's more like avoid the fight.
Yeah.
You know, because it will keep you secure. Like, you're gonna fight, but I know how, but I want to avoid it. You know. So that was a good discipline. From there, I started getting better.
So you did Taekwondo.
Yeah, we did Taekwondo.
Were you good at it?
Yeah, our idea was to go to the Olympics, but I met somebody they makes me a little slow. It calls tequila. So yeah, but I was 19 when I first had my drink, and I kind of like to go party and hang out with the boys. So I didn't want it because I still want to go to the Olympics. So we're training to eventually make it to that, but no, I was serious about it. In Mexico, you take it serious. Any of those mixed martial arts that you learn is super serious, because as soon as they know that you do trying to learn something,
They leave you alone.
no, trouble look for you more, because they're like,
Oh.
oh yeah, you learn, let's see what you got. So that stuff you don't tell anybody. Either way, you get very good, or you don't tell anybody. So
Wow.
because they take it serious. Yeah, Puebla, the city I grew, has a lot of school, and we've been competing to Korea, and then we're in Korea, which is where Taekwondo comes from, obviously. Have a lot of gold medals, and a lot of competitions in all different levels, including going to Korea. Puebla is very good. Puebla, Jalisco, when I make the tequila, Monterrey, those are the bigger cities for Taekwondo. So Puebla is soccer and Taekwondo, the biggest. Like Taekwondo, you find in schools almost every corner. And then they get serious. Yeah, they get serious. Puebla gets serious about Taekwondo. It's a good discipline. I wish my kids can learn it. They're a little scared. I try to teach them. I think I scare them. It's just why they say, yeah, no. But I think it's time for them to learn. But it's just a good discipline. Every child, they should be learned, because it gives you a good confidence and good discipline. So
how long did you take Taekwondo?
I think it was for another 4 years. Yeah,
Okay.
3 or 4 years. I don't quite remember. It's been a long time. But yeah, the childhood, it was interesting in Mexico. I paid for my school since I was 12, 13. Part of high school, I pay for it because I have to work. Because my grandpa wants me to work instead of going to school. I mean, he don't want to pay. I was a big responsibility for him.
Yeah.
I was another expenser for him, and I get it. You know, he loved me in his own way, but he loved me. I think he loved me now more because we all mature, we all grown up, and I don't think I broke his heart yet, you know, because he was expecting me to be like on the streets and then doing some other stuff, but I'm not doing so bad, you know. Not too bad for a sinner, you know.
I'd say you're doing pretty good. So what prompted you to leave Mexico?
Like I said, I want to help my family. Because I was wondering when I was young, I go on the roof and I always remember this. I talk to God, I was looking at the stars and talk like, what's going to be with me? How can I help my family? What should I do? I was wondering, worry and concern, like what's gonna be in my adult life? What should I do? Like I can't pay for the school no more. I don't think I'm gonna go to school. My neighbor, she was like, you should go to school, you should go to school. And then so I quit the school for 1 year, and I tried to pay. I tried to make money. I saved money to go back to school, and right when I was gonna pay, I run out of the line. Like, no, I gotta go back to work. Maybe it's better for me. So that was tough, because kind of want to go to school, but I want to also help my family. So that's why I said, you know what, I'm gonna come here, because I was working. And matter of fact, when I was 18, 19. That's how I started drinking, because I was making decent money working in a factory, Volkswagen, which is one of the biggest company in Puebla. But somebody told me about here. And doing the numbers, I said, well, whatever I do here in this company in 4 years, I'm gonna make it there in 2 years, so I better go there. So I quit, and everybody was shocked that I quit. But like I said, somebody had to buy the bullet and come here, and I did it because of my family in Mexico. I want to help them.
Yeah.
And I don't regret. Thank God I did it. Even it was hard, because I cried like a man. when I come here because I make less money when I come here.
Cry like a man, I like it.
Yeah, I didn't make less money. I miss everybody, every single one. Evaluate different now people because we don't appreciate our family because we nearby. But like they say, you appreciate things like when you lose that, when you have them.
Yeah.
Our health, our money, our car, our house, our dog, our family and friends. You have them every day.
Oh, and even the things you hate, somehow it's like you come back, you're like,
Yeah,
that tart
but
lemon just tastes good.
Yeah, you just exactly.
Yeah.
But when you're far away, then you're like, oh man, I wish I can see my family. I wish I can see my friend. So that was hard. Now I'm making money. When I came here, I don't even know the language. Still learning.
So what was the process like to come to the United States, though?
Like to come here.
Yeah, like, I mean, how long did it take you to make the decision and then to actually get the process going?
No, that was we're gonna need a bottle of tequila open, but that's
let's do
overnight because I was working in a factory, so I was having money, and I even opened a little taco store because I was trying to do business. I fell with so many business in Mexico.
Where did that entrepreneurial spirit come from?
From my grandpa because he was a good hardworking man, and then but he always want his own business, but he don't have enough capital. So then he started selling. He quit the company that we used to work for shoes. We worked for somebody else, and then he started. He don't have enough money to invest in his own shoes, so he started selling socks, and always he's trying to sell that, and he was doing really good. So I wanna help him. So I did sell a lot of different stuff, a lot of different stuff, and I was failing. But then like you probably heard, like every fail they teach you something. So yeah, they teach me something, but I was desperate, like when I'm gonna make it, when I'm gonna do something, you know. It's just like. It was hard. It was hard for me because I feel like never can I have my own business. I remember those days like every time I quit something and it's not good enough or it's not selling enough. So I have this factory work, and I have a little taqueria or tacos. I have two people working for me. So I was working in a factory and I'm working in the tacos. I was burning up, but then because I was hungry to make money.
Yeah.
And as the decision comes overnight, like, you know what? I've already been talking with some friends to go over there. So I'm gonna go. So I closed it. I quit the factory. I closed the tacos. It was a tiny place, but I closed it and I told my family, I'm going. They're like crazy. And it was better to do that because they said, no, you can't leave, you can't. I leave everything behind. Everyone, friends, and I just told them, some they don't even know, but it was like overnight basically. I'm gone, I'm leaving, I'm leaving. So I get here and I make less money. I work more hours, I make less money. Back in the day.
Where'd you move to?
To Wapaka.
You moved straight to Wisconsin?
To Wisconsin, yeah.
Did you drive or fly?
Both. And walk too.
Oh my gosh.
And I work in a restaurant in Wapaka just for food because just like I have no skills. So like I can help you guys in the restaurant as long as you feed me, and the boss accept that. And then I cut myself really bad for I don't know what I was doing. So I cut myself really bad, and then in a couple of days I find a job that was doing dishes, and I make $300 for 2 weeks, 10 or 12 hours a day. And that I was used to make it in 1 week with couple overtime hours, but I used to make that in 1 week in Mexico, which was not bad for at 20 years old. But here, $300 in 2 weeks I'm like cry, and it was so bad. Like this is the biggest mistake I ever did, and like I want to go back, but like no, I can't be. I will be a loser, and I'm not gonna get my job back. And I was ready to go back. Like this is impossible. They lied to me. So yeah, they kind of lied to us. They're like, you will make this much money when you come here. True and not, because you really have to work hard to make money. So yeah, I did my best, and I was doing dishes, and the boss don't want to pay me more. They said yes, but he didn't pay me more. So I left that job and I find another one, and it's doing dishes again. So I'm like, I don't really want to do this but I have no other choice. I can't work nowhere else. I don't know the language, anything like that. So I said, well, if I'm gonna be the dishwasher, I'm gonna be the best dishwasher. And I carry the philosophy and till today, I try to sell the best. I'm gonna sell tequila, I'm gonna sell the best. I'm gonna sell Mexican food, I'm gonna sell the best. And if I'm gonna, I don't know, anything I do, I try to do my best, so that way there's no room for what if. Because even in one point, I'm gonna get ahead a little bit. When I opened this restaurant and the other place, it was one point we're doing really bad. Nobody gives a penny for it, for the restaurant. And I'm like, I'm ready to close. And I said, here I go again, closing another business. I got home. My wife's never really involved, but I tell her that night, tomorrow I'm not gonna open anymore. I think I'm done. She's like, it's up to you. Okay, she always kind of like support me or go with the flow. And I say, all right, so that's it. And overnight I was thinking, well, I used to sell shoes. I used to sell clothes. I used to sell sacks. I used to sell tacos. And I always kind of fell. I'm like, but then I remember, comes to me like, but later on I say, what if I hanging out a little bit longer? I know business goes through hard times. What if I hanging out a little more? And then
What year is this?
This is in 2009.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, what if I hang out for a little bit? And I said, so will be no room for what if, because I want to do everything. So the way I regrets later, because in all the little business I tried to do, always like, what if I hang out a little bit longer back in the day? I probably would do better. So what I decided the night is like, you know what, I'm gonna keep open. And if I have to do the dishes again, if I have to clean the floor myself, if I have to clean everything myself, I have to cook myself, I will do it. I don't want room for what if, So that night I saved the business because of the decision I take of stay open. And yeah, I was doing the floor, I was doing this, I was doing everything so I can save in labor, and I was doing myself, and even I still have at one point have people to helping me. I still want to do my own so I can do it right.
Yeah.
Because there was a whole idea, do it right. So we're hanging in there, and we have some strategies to like just make it the best food.
Yep.
If people don't like it, then we got nothing else, Just make the best service, and if people don't come for the best service and the best food, then we got nothing. I say, well, It's no room for what if, I did my best, I didn't cut corners, and that's why we like to do fresh. That's why we like to do authentic. So we like to get a good products like tequila. That's why we like to do good service. I was here sharp with the guys, telling them that like, this is your business, guys. Now on my business with partners. Why? And I think we all should have this mentality that like the owner and the employees, the partners, because the owners might put the risk of financial, and then the employees put the risk of time, so that we both invest. So I was telling the guys, hey, this is your business as well, we're taking risks, different risks, but we're taking risks. So I see my employees as a partners, they make money first, and then me maybe eventually, but
ain't that the truth?
Yeah, but that's what it is, and some kids don't see it that way. And I tell my employees, no, you gotta make sure you make money. How? Making the customers happy, because that's who pay us. I'm not paying.
No, I mean that's one of the big problems today, at least with businesses I talk to and everybody else. You've got this generation, and I'd say like 40s and over, where they still want to work, they still see working hard, and a lot of the younger generation, they get into a job and they look at it as such. They don't see they don't want to work hard for an opportunity at something bigger. They think they need to start way up here.
Yeah, correct. So
I mean, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one, but because sometimes we kind of spoil. Like I grown up with nothing, it makes you hungry.
Yeah.
And that's what it was for me. All those concerns when I was younger, like it makes me hungry to do something. But once we have everything, a roof, car, everything, it's not need.
It's comfortable?
It's comfortable. You don't need nothing. So you're like, oh, okay. So they killed your expectation, your aspirations. Like you don't have no aspirations because you have everything. But go to Mexico, another country, they were like, it get paid really cheap, and then yeah, because even I work in construction when I was 14, 15, it was hard. Uh, used to do anything to make money,
Yeah.
anything good. I used to do anything. To work here, go to work there. Because my grandpa teach me like work hard, always just common sense. If they hire you to do this, but you see something wrong, go fix it if you can. You gotta do always good. So yeah, that's.
So let me ask you though, how did you stay motivated? I mean, because you keep failing and failing and failing at all these different business ideas. How did you keep yourself like stay up there? Because I mean, you've got stuff going on in your personal life, you got stuff going on in your professional life. How did you keep things going?
This is a good question, but that's my point. Like my family is the ones motivate me. My family is the one. My grandpa, I want to prove him wrong. He thinking I'm gonna fail in life, so I want to prove him wrong. How? Helping him, have enough money to help him. So I fixed his house a little bit when I was working down there. Everything I do because I want to prove them wrong if I'm thinking I'm not gonna do something good. So that's my motivation, like helping my family. Like I want to be somebody else. And also, I think part of the motivation to now that I remember it was this family. I was good friends of mine. Hanging out with them as my. I really like this girl, but her parents looking for somebody higher with money.
How old were you?
I was 18 at this point. I already have a good job because I know them since younger, but when I realized I like her, I was 16, 17. So it was my motivation, and she was older than me. And of course the parents wanna, like every father and mother wants somebody good for the daughter. So I wasn't that person. I didn't have the money, so I was just a kid from the street because they saw me growing up by myself, basically, well, with my grandparents, but her parents saw me being like.
So they knew you growing up when you were like more rambunctious and more mischievous.
More poor and more everything, so they don't want something like that. But then I get to this company, the factory, and I like the eyes kind of like light up, like, oh, it's how it is. You have something, you add value to yourself, which is bad. But so they saw that they're like, oh, I now work in this factory, so now I wanna maybe this guy is gonna be good. But I think still it's not enough. So that can motivate me to like to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
Just put it this way. Besides first of all, my family motivates me because I want to help them.
Yeah.
And then also other people, I want to prove them wrong.
And a good-looking girl. That doesn't hurt.
So now we all marry and all good. So we all friends.
How did you meet your wife, Michelle?
Oh,
I've never heard this story, so I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
Because she's from the United States.
Yeah. Her mom is from the Philippines. Her dad from here. They met when he was overseas in the Navy. I met her in a restaurant too, and I was cooking in Marshall, and she started as a waitress. And I was focused because, like I said, I only came here for for a little bit, and I want to go back to Mexico. I just want to get some money and go back. So I remember the owner's like, hey, this lady speaks a little bit Spanish. Like, I don't care about girls. I'm here to make money. Yeah, but later on, I started talking to her, and we started talking over the years, and then that's how I met her in Marshall. Yeah. I was not looking at anybody. I was always looking down, but she probably looking at me. I don't know. I asked her to go out to the park, and she said yes. And like we start talking, and yeah, the rest is history. But yeah, Michelle is my new motivation. The kids here, and still my grandparents, my grandpa, and my grandma is still there. Then 90 years old, and still my motivation. The family. That's why we Mexicans or Latinos work hard for the most part, because we have double the bills. It's not like naturally we work hard like this because we're born to do this. No, we work hard because I pay my grandpa's medication, bills there, power, phone, everything. And then here too. So the same bills I pay here, basically, I pay down there for them, medication, doctors, and all that. So that's part of why we work so hard, or 2 jobs or 3 jobs.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
so you started the dishwasher role, and then you started moving up to cook. Mm-hmm. Go through that progression, because I know you started a dishwasher, you moved to cook, and then you moved to management.
Yeah, I think I have this since in Mexico. I want to start from the bottom and then move up. I want to always prove myself up. So, but this time I'm doing better because I say I want to be the best dishwasher, and then so being the best dishwasher, it puts me to like a good effort to be there and time, do clean very good, keep my ears open so I can learn English as I'm doing dishes. I'm repeating what the waitress is saying. I don't have no clue, but then I figure out what that means and I learn the pronunciation, and also invest my time, like let the dishes accumulate and go to the kitchen, look, observe, hear, and check it out how they cook and all that. And I go back to the dishes and back and forth. So 8 months later, I was cooking in a Chinese restaurant. And then for Chinese restaurant, I see how that's it. That's tough. I'm not gonna move anywhere. I'm there. But then somebody offered me to be a waiter because finally a Mexican restaurant comes in Marshall, which is Al Mezcal. Comes to Marshall, and they offered me to be a waiter, and like, no, I don't know, I can't speak, and like, no, you should be a waiter, no. But they told me how much the waiters back in the day they make.
You're like,
okay,
okay, let's go.
Okay, let's do it. And I was really bad at it. I was really bad at it, but I said, well, okay, I'm gonna be the best one. I'm gonna be the best waiter, and I have to learn, go to restaurants. Was not YouTube videos back in the day. That's how old I am.
This is before the internet, right?
You're correct. So then I have to go to restaurants, learn how to do this, how to do that, and watch from other people how they do it. And so then I became a decent waiter, start making money finally because I was losing money. Like I wasn't making any because I was really bad at it. But then I came better, then to the point they offered me to run one of the restaurants here in Wausau, and we did it for 4.5 years, and because I wanted to get more authentic and better again with the food and all that. But the owners don't want it. They say, oh no, our menu works good, which is Tex-Mex. Nothing wrong with that, but I want to show more authentic.
You were born and raised in Mexico. There's a taste you've got.
So I have the responsibility to represent my culture and my shoulders. So that's my biggest responsibility. Because people come to this restaurant which is serving Tex-Mex, like, well, this is not really Mexican because they've been to California. I don't know,
You're saying Taco Bell's not legit?
No.
You're like,
no,
get the hell out of here.
No, but yeah, so some people tell me, oh, this is not very authentic. I said, well, we up north, that's all we offer. And it kind of bothers me, like, okay, we got to show people more authentic. And I think it's time. Nobody else is doing it, so I'm going to do it. Because I told them, like, can we switch the menu? Can we add this? And always tell me, no, leave it this way. And I'm like, okay. So start thinking, like, maybe I should do my own thing, you know? Which is hard.
Yeah.
I didn't see it was possible, but I have to do what I have to do. Like, you know, I did get in the beginning, I get a partner and didn't work pretty good, but we worked hard to get into this point. This business is not easy. And a restaurant is not easy, but it's not impossible either.
So so you're jumping out of the restaurant business when you started as dishwasher, then cook, then manager, waiter, everything. You basically ran all the positions and ran the business for them. After seeing all that, you still decided to go into opening a restaurant.
Yeah, but
why? I mean, as far as I know, it's one of the hardest businesses.
Yeah.
Like, what was the appeal? Do you like cooking, or is it?
I do like cooking. I didn't know I do like it before, but I do like cooking. One of the things is, again, goes back to the beginning because my family. So when I came here, I asked God to help me to get a good job because I want to help people, which is my family, right? And it was good. They pay me good and all that, so I'm very thankful for that. But then later, when I have the ambition, like open my own, that's again, I said, God, help me. I want to be in the position so I can help people.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest things. And then why I have this restaurant, because I say, I was talking to God, if you help me to get this business going, it will be better because then I'll be the person who helps, not the person who needs help. And I want to be the person who is available to help.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can help me with this business, I will help people. So it's a big commitment, because besides doing jobs, if somebody comes to me and really needs something, I'll be there. Whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's a ride, anything, I'm there for people. So that's why here and there's few people ask the observation, how come you never say no? How come you never get mad? And I say, and in my head, like, because this business, I open it to help people, and I know. And that's why we're doing the way we're doing this far. Like,
and I even got to say that you've been a client of mine for a while. And even when I was younger, I remember playing a gig here, and it stuck in my mind. I babysat your kids, and I got done, and you're like, well, how much do I owe you? I said, well, I'd love the opportunity just to play at your restaurant. Because I was just starting to get a couple gigs playing out on my own. You said no. He's like, we'll handle that separately. He said, I was blown away by that. And then I got here and I played, and it was just a bad night. It was raining. Nobody was coming in. Nobody was going out anywhere. And I'm playing to a room of like 8 people. And you still said, nope, I'm going to pay you and I'm going to get you a meal. At that. And even, that's one of the things that I can always rely on with you is, you're a man of your word more than anything. And it blows me away, because sometimes it's like, okay, we got to go back and forth a little bit. But whenever you say something, I've never seen you renege on your offers.
No,
you've always, like, if you say you're going to be here on Tuesday, like for instance, we planned this a month ago, and you're very, I have a lot of respect for that, because a lot of people don't have integrity today.
Yeah, but it's because based on this business, what I said, like, I need to help my family and then anyone else that need the help. And that's why we make it this far. This restaurant is beautiful, and it still shocked me that after 16 years in this other restaurant with challenge, still moving to a beautiful place. Yeah. From making from the bottom, making the way we want it. It's still, this is only for the grace of God, because it's not because of my hard work or pretty face, which I don't have. It's because God helped me, because I try to stay with my word. I try to tell God, like, I'm gonna help people, and whether maybe for people don't see it, but like giving you an opportunity to work is helping. Having this business going, so somebody can bring something to the family is helping. Like, I give opportunities to play music, like you say. Some other stuff. Like, those little things motivate me. I'm gonna share with you. It's a few times, but then I'm gonna share one or two. There was this guy just coming out of jail one day, nice kid, and he's like, hey, nobody's giving me an opportunity. I do anything. I can do dishes and blah blah. Look, I have this. They monitor me where I am, but nobody cares about this and all that. And I said, no, you want to really work? Why you want to work? Well, I need money and this, and I live with my mom. And I said, okay, you can help us. She's like, really? Like, yeah. I need respect, and then you do your work, and I teach you and all that. So he saw us how we work here in this company, and he was kind of impressed, and he kept motivated. He's like, Roy, I want to be out of trouble. I want to be somebody. I want to do something. Long story short, one day, he had to move on because he had offered a better opportunity after he take his time, and they don't have the little thing in his ankle and no more. And then I said, okay, go. That's what I want. I want people to grow. If you don't grow here, I want you to grow somewhere else. But I want you to learn something here so you can apply it somewhere else. He's like, no, Roy, I think it's time for me to go. One day I was by myself closing the bar over there, and then this lady came and I sit down and start talking, almost closing, but she's like, just one drink. She don't know how to tell me that she was the mom of these kids. Like, you remember the kid you have here and there, like this and like this? I said, oh yeah, I remember him. Like, well, I want to say thank you. And she like, why? What do you mean? Like, I'm his mom. I said, oh, how he's doing? Like, well, he's doing great. He's the manager of this company, the transportation. He have 3 kids, and he and his wife was his girlfriend back in the day. Now he's doing great, and I want to thank you. Like, no, you don't thank me. Thank your son that he take the decision to choose for better. She's like, no, but he saw something here, and now he's making me so proud. And he always said it was because he worked here. I don't want to say thanks to me, but like he works here, so he saw something in here, and you give him the opportunity where nobody's given, and like that gives me satisfaction because knowing that he have 3 kids and he brought it here sometimes. I think he moved now, but he brings those kids here. I'm like, man, that's good. Yeah, it's another guy too that like he's arm wrestling now. He was in something and he's tried to quit. He can, and it was a hard time for him. But he also saw like, Roy, I like how you guys work hard in this. He's very hyper. I'm gonna do like that too one day. You watch me. I'm gonna get out of these things, and he's recovered, and he's a good man. I really like him. Yeah, he comes and visits me here and there. He tells me good things here and there, and it makes me feel good. But he's like, I was thinking, I was like, thank you, Roy, because I work there. So they help is more important than money because they give you an idea and it gives you the opportunity to how to work better and be somewhere. So there's a few people like that,
Yeah.
And then, and then other ones are like young kids. They start when they're young here and they don't even know how to use the broom. I have to deal with that.
Don't know how to use the broom.
Yeah, I don't know how to use sweep and all that. But then ending being a waiter or bartender. So, because my idea is like when somebody live here and go somewhere else, I want them to impress the new boss.
Yeah.
So where do you work before? You good, So I try to teach them everything I can, because they will come handy for life,
So how do you manage 40 plus employees?
Oh no, we have 27.
Oh, 27.
Yeah, 27 right now. They're not adults. They're here for the same thing as me, money. So that's how I manage them. We are the same. I tell them we're here with the same. Like, you need money, right? Yep, I need money too. So we come here not for hobby. We come here to work. So you do your part, I do my part. It's super easy that way, And I wish we all 100% the same page, but they do a very good job. I have very, very good employees. Like, that's why we're here, because of the employees. That's because of the employees. That's why we're this far, So that's how I manage them. I manage the whole thing is trusting them, trusting them with discipline too. We're talking about discipline. We're talking about motivation and stuff like that. Can't really relate the business and trust only,
No, that makes sense.
But that's why I'm here, so I can see things moving.
So I want to ask you something crazy. If you had to start all over again and start a restaurant with nothing, how would you do that?
First of all, with the decision, I'm gonna do it, because
I mean, let me throw in a caveat. After 2020, the majority, or not even the majority, a lot of restaurants struggled. They either had to take quality hits or they just went out of business because of different government regulations and things that were going on across the United States. How would you take today, after all that, and inflation's up, pretty much anything that could go wrong is just about gone wrong. There's a lot that's been bad, especially it's been hard for business owners. How, if you had to start all over again right now, what's the process you go through to open a restaurant?
It's a tough business question. The process to open a new restaurant, first of all, you're right, it's very hard right now for 2020. It's very risky, especially restaurants. But you have to find now to open something, or what should I do is to open something as start small and find a niche, offer people something that nobody else offer. You convince yourself that your product is the best, and in order to do that, make sure it's the best. It's hard. It's a lot of work, and that's why I decided to do when I was 29, because I said, well, I'm younger, so I bet if I fail, I'll be okay. I can go work somewhere else, but I don't want to do this when I'm like 40s because I don't probably have the same energy.
Yeah.
But even so, right now, it will be hard if you don't have the capital, because it's hard if you don't have the money. If you have the money, you might take the hit and then it's okay. You lose the money if it doesn't work, but you have to find a niche in this business, which is a restaurant. Offer something special to people, something different. You guys study around what we need, and then offer that. and then start small and then grow, because our community here likes to see people growing, business growing. This community is pretty good. A lot of local business, and we support each other, and a lot of charities that we need to support, so people know that we need to grow so we can support these charities and stuff like that. So I would say find a good community, do good things for people, and offer a good product, like find your niche. But like I said and before, open with a purpose. Do business with a good purpose, because you have to have a good purpose so that you can stay motivated. Okay, why I need the money? Okay, why I want to open the business?
Yeah.
You have to have a good purpose, which is feeding the kids, bringing food to the table, make sure our family have a roof, Those are common sense, right? But sometimes we don't even say it, because I have.
So if people get nothing else from this, go have a couple kids and it'll inspire you.
Yep. Not only inspire you, you need to feed them. So you have to take responsibility and your obligations, So that's what it is. You have to have a reason to that you can afford it to fail. You have to work hard.
Because I know that's one thing for a lot of people, is the motivation and trying to get it going. Because it's when you're working on a business, you've got your personal life and everything else that comes into it, and that's one of the hardest things. That for me, it's been like, because I neglected my personal life for 3 years, and I was super successful in business. I was doing great. I was like selling $250,000 worth of stuff a month. I wasn't making $250,000, unfortunately, but something like that. And then came back, and it's like, okay, it hit, and it's like, oh, I guess you have to have this thing called a personal life. And how do you balance that? Because you've got 3 kids, you've got a wife that you hang out with and love, and you've got a full restaurant with 27 people that are running the place.
Yeah, well.
How do you balance it all? And you're active in your church community.
Yeah, but it's called one thing called sacrifice. And not only me, I sacrifice a lot with my kids. I sacrifice a lot with my wife, which is the bigger support, and thankfully they understand it. But that's why we're here, because they take the sacrifice as well. We're always spending enough time with them. But what I just do is quality. If I'm gonna spend 5 minutes there, I have taken care of those 5 minutes. I tell my kids, I love you guys. You look handsome, man. Man, I'm proud of you. And get mad too when they're not doing the right thing. And I say,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you one of those. I discipline them when they're young, and they work with me. Not work, but like they hang out here with me when they're young. Yeah. My wife was working, so balance. Yeah, but fine. Sometimes I feel like having like 5 different balls, like jiggling like that. See, like trying to balance everything is not easy, but I think you give them quality, and then some. Even right now, a lot of customers, more like friends, they come and see us and support us, which I'm very thankful for. But sometimes I don't have time to mingle with them, because I'm cooking, because I'm doing this. We've been having a little bit hard time right now because it's new, and it's good problem to have that we're busy. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't have too much time sometimes to talk with my customers or my wife or my kids, you know. I've been missing a couple of things, but it's part of life, and then you have to take the sacrifices, because it will get you somewhere else better later, you know.
That makes sense.
You know, it's like when I tell the young kids, we're talking about new generations don't work hard. It's because they don't find motivation, and then one thing is because nobody tell them that, like, when you're 20 to 29 or 18 to 29, 30, you have to work hard. That's when you're young, and then it doesn't matter if you sleep 2-3 hours, pick it up the next day, you go to work, no problem. So before 18, make sure you build physically a good physical condition, like muscles and all that, because when you get 20, just focus on work. So in 4 or 5 years, you're gonna be good at it, and then start your own business or grow in that company, grow, because you're the best at what you do, you know. So a sacrifice, because then you're not gonna have time for girlfriend, you're not gonna have time for making family, or you do, but you have to tell her, like, in this case, to tell her like, you have to hang out. I'm not gonna spend too much time because I need to work and I need to work, you know. But you hang in there, your reward will come later, you know.
No, I agree with you, because I think that the crazy part for me is I see how many business owners are trying to sell their businesses. And I'm not saying you, but when you get like 65, 70 years old, you're like, okay, I don't want to be sitting at a restaurant. I don't want to be sitting in a warehouse. I don't want to be sitting at the office all day. I kind of want to move on. And one of the things that I see is, and the reason I brought up the motivation in the younger generation, I guess I'm included in that, is because there's so many opportunities out there, but they can't seem to, I don't know, it's weird, because you've got all these guys that want to go start businesses and like go be these moguls and, you know, and buy a Ferrari. But then on the flip side of that, you've got a lot of people that are like, I want to give you my business. I want you to work with me for a year and I will practically give you the business for pennies on the dollar. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand what's not translating, because I see a lot of them taking these hard routes or these hard paths, and they could get out of high school, take a year or two, work for this business, and then be making $200,000-$300,000 a year. I don't understand it. That's one of the things that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, well, a lot of things can change in life. You know, you want this business, but down the road, maybe people get their own reasons, like get sick or tired of doing this. And the whole idea is to build something so that you can sustain in your older days for it, you know. So the whole idea is like to grow the business, to grow a company, and then they'll pay you back later, you know, which is good. And then sometimes also kind of bad, because you have to like enjoy what you're doing, like as part of your retirement. Like, I enjoy what I'm doing, talking with you, hanging out here, working
Tequila.
here. Tequila, selling tequila, drinking tequila. Sometimes I do dishes. Like this past Saturday, my dishwasher don't show up. On my sleeps, like, I'm gonna do this, and it doesn't even bother me. I'm just part of the process, part of the enjoyment. I cook, you know. Sometimes we see a lot of tickets, and I go back there and I say, like, I got this, and like we start talking, and I enjoy it, and then and like people back in the kitchen look at me like, wow, okay, doesn't bother you? Like, no, because it's part of the enjoyment. I do this for a living, and I know the challenge. Okay, so sometimes when you don't find the flavor, the enjoyment of the job, you're like, I want to quit. I'm done. I'm probably selling this. I'm gonna enjoy life. Don't have to wait until you get to the point. You have to enjoy it as now, because why I want a Ferrari later on when like 60, you know. My hands were shaking, maybe. No, 60.
Sitting in the wheelchair
70,
doing the dishes?
Maybe 75. No, but like I tell my kids, you plan to buy something fancy, try to work hard right now and buy it right now. Because when they're older, just like live up memories. I want to have my older days just have good memories when I used to do this, when I used to do that. And I feed myself all those memories, you know. Not hungry for like, I want to do this, I want to go to this trip. No, I want to just enjoy all the memories when I'm older. But that's the point. You got to sell the business in one point, you know. Everybody has their own reason, and then why. I don't see myself yet selling it, but eventually probably, you know. But what I will do, you know.
You'd be bored.
Yeah, I'm going to be here with my cane, like drinking tequila, offering tequila at least, you know.
I could see it.
Yeah.
No, I think that's cool. I guess one other thing is, what's the hardest part about running a restaurant? Because I talk to a lot of service-based businesses, and there's little hurdles, but the restaurant industry is one that, I mean, just from the people that I've talked to, which you run a restaurant, so you know more, but when the highs are high, the lows are low. Like, it's really, it can be drastic. So what's the hardest part about running a restaurant?
Yeah, find the balance to administrate how to pay the bills, you know. And with that is, in order to do that is like get the right people to work, you know, get the right people, hiring the right people, motivate the people, because like I say again, we hit this far because of the employees. So the hard part is picking the right people to work in the restaurant. You know, you don't want to hire somebody that hate this, you know. You want to hire somebody like, I like what I do, or challenge them to like, if I have some people that like never done this and I don't want to do this, like I think you should be doing this or cooking or doing dishes. I think the most challenge is to find the right people. Because you have the right product, but you have the right idea, but you don't have a partners can sell it for you. You can't do everything. I can't do everything. I don't have all the talents. I only have one talent. I don't know what it is, but I have only one talent. Because I have all the talents, I don't need no people. So first of all, I realized I don't have all the talents, and that's why we need more people.
Yep.
Because she had one talent, he had one talent, she had one talent, and that's why it's teamwork in any business. Because everybody brings their one talent to the table. You know, everybody's work is good for something. You know, in this business. In other words, everyone brings something to the business. Sometimes some people are more in time than others. You know, some people have more skills, more talking with people than others. But they want to talk less. It's more precise in what they do, you know, and they want to talk more. It's not good in this, but it's good in this. So
big time.
You have to find the balance, and then you have to be the brains like, okay, we're going to do this.
So how do you find people, though? Because, I mean, that's the problem with most businesses today. Finding, like, when you find a good person, it's like, grab it with both hands, you know? Like, what's the secret?
Praying a lot. To not
Church 5 times a night.
Sounds joke, but no, you pray, and then again, give a good reason, because like I say, we need to continue with this business. So God, please send me a good people to work here, because we have a contract that I need to help people. But if I don't have the right people, then how can I help people? So always like, don't forget the reason you open for, you know. So yeah, we're talking about that. It reminds me, like, the business fails, probably will fail a few times because of me, but I have to go back to pray and ask God to forgive me, give me another opportunity. So please pray for me, because I'm human, right? So I make mistakes and all that, and business is this far because also God to trust me. Faith for me is important, and that's why we're this far, because of faith. You know, helps me to get balance, to not get wild, like, I'm making it, I'm doing this, which I'm not making it. I'm just passing by, you know. I try to stay humble, because God, because I know what this business is about, to help people. Of course, it started with my family, but it's all about it to help, you know. So that helps me to find the right people. And like I said, like I tell people, come and try it, you know. If you like it, good. If you don't like it, we'll still be friends. No worries, you know. So people try here and there. Well, I have a lot of people through the years. Yeah.
No, I could see it. Because, I mean, jumping back to what you said earlier, it blows my mind with even our conversations that we have here. Like, I guess one of the conversations I want to bring up is we were back at the old location before you moved into this one. We were sitting at a table right next to the door. You had all these people coming in. They're like, hey, if you need help with the move, just let us know. And you're literally sitting there and you're just like, you're tired, you're ready to fall asleep. And we're talking about stuff for the new place. And you've got people that are like, you let us know, I'll bring my trailer over. I got a truck. And you've fostered such deep relationships with so many people. That's something that most people strive for in sales or in networking, and they never get the opportunity to do. How do you do that? Like, what's running through your head when you're like, okay, I want to get to know this person. I want to grow a relationship with this person, or I need to develop a relationship with this person. Or how do you do that? Like, what's your secret? Because it works really well for you.
I don't know, Tony. I think I'm crazy, and it's okay that you're thinking that, but I think to connect with people like this is go to confession quite often. Seriously, is stay in. I try to stay in grace all the time, you know, because definitely I'm Catholic, and so I stay in grace. So I try to stay positive, and when I don't go to confession, which is years before, my life changed a little bit better when I leave this retreat. you go to confession, you feel more clean, you feel more unguilty, you feel more relaxed. Because sometimes I have this guilt in my shoulder, so we walk like this, looking down. We don't smile, and I live through this quite bad. Like I said, I'm a human. But then you go to confession, you feel like clean. Because somebody asked me something like that. How can you always smile? I said, I don't know. And then I started like, why I always smile? I asked myself too. But I said, I'm happy. I mean, I try to have a good relation with God, and I'm falling here and there, but I always get up and I keep going. So I think it's more spiritually. I feel like, then it's an honest answer. It's an honest answer. I feel like if I'm good with God, then I'm gonna be good with everybody.
So if you've got the weight off your shoulders, if you're feeling like at peace, you're feeling humble, you think that's what does it for you? It makes you more approachable, and other people, it's easier to approach people?
Yeah, because even sometimes I got to myself, like I'm a little irritated, a little bit frustrated, and I just step back. And I go to church, literally. I just go to church, and I go to confession sometimes too. And the priest always have something to say to me. And I come back like a newborn, like come back and like I'm happy, you know. And I think it connects that. But when we have, because I've been there, guilt and feel bad for things that you've done and all that, you don't feel like you want to talk to people. You feel like you want to hide because you did something wrong and this and that. So, but I know what is the solution, you know. So I go there and then come back and like I'm new and I talk to people. I kind of have a face again to talk. But if I do something wrong and it accumulates, whether it's angry, whether it's like, I don't like to swear, but like whether like you're mad at somebody and or like you do something wrong. I don't know bigger, so I'm not gonna say anything. But you do bigger things, you feel bad and you kind of hide it. But when you have a good relation with God, you kind of feel more free and fresh to people. And I feel, this is what I'm trying to say, I feel people censor that goodbye, the good energy, whatever you want to call it, but like they censor that, like, this is good guy, like, oh yeah, this guy, and like, and I don't see anybody more or less, never less either. I see everybody's like cool people. Like I said, this community is pretty cool. So like, I try to get along with everybody, and when they're mad at me, like, I'm like, don't be mad, don't be mad, you know. It's like, I'm like, I see like people sometimes get at me, like, okay, sorry, we'll fix that, or like, At one point, in the other place, at the beginning, he had this friend. He's like, this worker. He worked with me even in another restaurant. He followed me, and he's like, I'm gonna ask you something. And I don't even know, I wasn't in a good relation with God, but still, like, try not to get mad. It's like, I'm gonna ask you something. Why you not mad? This guy, other waiter did this and did that, and you're not mad. I said, what I'm gonna do if I get mad, man? Nothing.
Go to confession.
No, but back in the day, I didn't know that secret yet. But then I said, no, I don't. Why I'm mad? I get nothing if I'm mad. Like, no. He's like, if I'm me, I punch him in the face. And I said, no, they only get things worse, you know. Things only gonna get worse, you know. So don't do that, you know. Stay more laid back. Like now, I discovered that St. Paul says, like, you can't fix hate with more hate, you know. Or
so. I mean, when you feel that bubble up inside you and you're like, oh, like, how do you just say, okay, I'm good?
When I feel like mad?
When you're like, I just want to go punch a wall. Like, how do you?
Well, I go punch the wall then, but I hurt myself. I literally learned that. And like, my son Mateo is like with me, and then I have a phone call, and I was frustrated from another place because things were tough, and like, and I had a partner and all that, and I said I would not do it again because it was an intense situation. So my son is right next to me, so I punched the door, but the door was open, so it didn't get a solid. I did solid punch, but like the door was open, so it didn't break the door. But I feel like fragile my knuckles because for a year I can't touch them, and I learned that I can't get mad like that because I really punched the door. Doesn't give
be
you
harder
anywhere.
to hold the cane one day, right?
Yeah, I punched the door and I didn't get anything. I only get more pain. And my son was scared. He like started crying because he saw me punching. They're like, oh shoot, that's not good. So life teaches me like don't need to get mad. You know, everything is fixable, and I try not to. lately I've been a little feeling in what I'm gonna say. I notice. I try not to fix things when I'm mad. Yeah, I try to let things cool off first, I try to cool off 1st before I try to say something, because lately I've been under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And I know my face can tell, and then my actions can tell, and it's because of a lot of stress. So I'm trying sometimes like stay back, reinvent yourself, like shake it and go back, because this causes a lot of stress. Being open, like, trying to open and all that, but I try to get humble. I trust a lot in God. Faith again. You get faith, and then He will fix everything.
No, I'm with you. I think, because I know that's one thing I used to have a problem with when I could push through a lot of the rejection and things like that. The things that bothered me were I don't know, it's like if there was a problem that came up, for me, it's like we used to have a term called emotionally hijacked. You ever heard of that term? Basically just means that your emotions take control and you're like, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know what's going on, and you're not thinking rationally. Which for me in business sometimes happens if it's like, okay, there's a deal I'm trying to close, there's something that's happening, and everything's just kind of going wrong. It's like sometimes, I think it's a good point, like you said, to kind of take a step back and be like, go to the gym, go for a walk, go hang out with your family, like take a break, come back to it when you've got a clear head. Otherwise, you're just going to end up saying stuff that you got to then backtrack again.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to say things that you regret later when you're mad. Yeah, that's the challenge of this work. Gotta stay calm, because sometimes you don't see customers coming into the door. You feel the pressure, but there's nothing you can do. I mean, just make sure you do the things you have to do, and if you're not coming in, there's nothing really you can do, But yeah, that's the challenge. Just stay calm most of the times. Yeah. It helps. Other than that, I lose more hair.
Hey, one day.
Yeah.
But, well, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you doing
Tony,
this.
no, thank you. I appreciate it. You take the time to talk a little bit about life, It's nothing big. It's just things about life and hanging out, two guys talking.
Oh, exactly. And haven't cracked the tequila yet.
Yeah, don't crack the tequila yet, but yeah, we gotta try this. This is a good tequila. Like I say, when I do something, I try to do my best with what I sell, with what I offer, Even anything, including my friendship, I try to be there,
Yeah.
Again, I always feel bad that I don't spend a lot of time with people, hanging out, places and all that. But I have the fortune of like people coming here to the restaurant to hanging out, and I see the smiles too. That makes me happy, and that's why I take care of them like we're home. And not only doing business, but that's my guest, and I want to make sure that things go good for them. I have a good place to hang out, which now we have it in this new location.
I like the new location. Looks good.
Me too. I like the inside, the outside. Everything looks good. The employees hopefully motivated to work in a nice place, and there's good energy here too.
Oh yeah, I like it better than the old one.
Oh yeah, a lot better. I don't even think about the other one anymore. Sorry, but yeah, no, it's good. You gotta start somewhere, and you gotta take the risk. That's one thing. My last advice: take the chance, take the risk. We never can have the perfect time to open the business. But you have to try and face the challenge as they come, because we don't have like a business plan exactly. This day is gonna be like this. This day, I walk into the door, and before I make it here, I have to talk with 5-6 people, because this restaurant never's gonna go like this. But you go through that, and you'll be fine. Because it's like being parents. You're never gonna be ready to say like, okay, I'm ready to have kids because I'm trained.
Yeah.
I know a lot of stuff. No, the business is the same thing as you have a kid. You learn it as you go through the days.
Did you take on a mentor at all?
No.
Okay.
No, I wish it would be better.
You just couldn't find a mentor, or what happened?
No, I didn't.
Just never thought about it?
I never thought about it, But now I found one. I just need to listen it more. He's up there. I just need to listen to him more, But you just have to open the business, any business, and go for it.
And I think too, any problem that people have, there's somebody out there that can fix it. I had one of the guys on my podcast, he was a gym trainer before he got into his current profession. And he was training a couple guys, and he told one guy, he's like, listen, he said, can I buy you lunch? I need to, and it was some guy owned a business worth a couple $1,000,000. He's like, I just need to help figure this out. He's like, can you work with me? Yeah, let's do it. And I think one of the things is if you're opening a business, you don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, even you're relatively approachable. I mean, you're not an angry guy. You're not somebody who's going to be like, get out of here. If somebody were to walk up to you and say, listen, I'm struggling. I'm half an hour away. I've got a business. I don't know what the heck to do. You take 15, 20 minutes and answer some questions. Mm-hmm. Most people would. And I think that's one thing that a lot of business owners don't do enough of. Because I know I got a call this morning from a business owner who called me. He's like, you got some time to chat? I said, yeah. He said, I've got a problem with a client. He's like, the client wants everything cheap. They want it done now. And they want it was just a bunch of unreasonable expectations. And I hopped on the phone with him and said, okay, here's how I do the conversation. Here's the easiest way for me to do it. Mm-hmm. Walk through it, and I got a text back that everything went good. So I mean, I think if anybody has questions, I think they can reach out to a lot of people and get help easy.
Oh yeah, it's a way to ask for help in any situation, personal life or a business. We just need to ask for help. Mm-hmm. I learned that because I want to do it on my own, but no, asking for help is better. You know, asking for help is better versus being your own. All those challenges, you ask for help, people will help you.
Oh yeah.
Especially in this community again. People are very nice in this community.
Unless you go to Chicago.
That's a different story. Yeah, but even so, it's like everywhere, it's good and bad people. But here, everybody's helping to grow local business. So anybody struggle, they will be there. Somebody will be there, or you figure out eventually something.
Oh, exactly. Mm-hmm. And if it fails, who cares? Start up another one. I mean, how many times do people fail in business? For instance, you. I mean, look how many businesses went down the tubes for you. Mm-hmm. How many times it failed, but you finally caught something. You're like, you got it.
Yeah, there's just they say somewhere in there, right? That it's not fail, it's just learning. Mm-hmm. You know, it's part of the process of learning, make you stronger. Because all the struggles I went through when I was when in my childhood, it was to make me stronger. Mm-hmm. If I don't go through all I went through when I was a kid, I'll probably not be here. But now I'm very thankful. Went through all the insecure, all the what is the word I'm looking for? You know, more of the times the insecure, the worst can happen in my life. Yeah. And I try to do this, I try to do that. All those things I went through, it makes me strong for now. So if I don't go through that, I will fail now. You know, because I don't know how to take it, I don't know how to manage that. But I'm glad I struggle. I'm glad I grew up poor and without father. I have my grandpapa. I'm glad I grew up without father because then I love my kids more. The love I don't have, I didn't have when I was growing up. Yeah, I give it to my kids now. You know, even if a little 5 minutes, 10 minutes here and there, a Sunday, and that's why we're closing Sundays, I give it to them because I didn't have that. It's growing up. So, and I'm glad. Yeah. Because then makes me who I am.
So I got to ask, because I know that's one thing that I've seen kind of as a trend with a lot of successful people, at least people I've talked to or people I personally know that are friends of mine or acquaintances or clients, is there's something when, I don't know what it is, but when there's trauma growing up, it seems like it does something to somebody and they just, a lot of successful people I know, most of them have not had an easy route. They've had something going on. There was a missing parent, things like that, something they had to get over emotionally or in their personal life. Was there something for you that you just had to like get over this hurdle?
No, just not being. I was scared not being available to help my family. I was always scared to like not be available to prove them that they can do something good. You know, but no, I never struggled. But like they say, tough times. It makes us stronger. It makes you stronger, you know. And easy times make you weak. Because if you have everything easy, that's gonna make us weak, you know. That's why my kids, they don't have an easy life. When they mess around, I get my belt out, and then so
Bam.
yeah, I mean,
Tequila.
correct. I mean, yeah, easy childhood, it might make us weak. And I say from my own experience, because it was no easy childhood for me, but I feel stronger. I feel stronger that I'm ready to adopt a kid because I'm too strong now. Yeah, it was a rough childhood, and it makes me stronger, or makes me who I am, thanks to being struggling when I was young. And on the other hand, I had my friend, one of good friend I grew up with, same age as me. He had mom and dad and all that. He was gonna come with me here, but they don't allow him because he was too young, and they always kind of overprotect him.
Yeah.
And then was one point that he was struggling a little bit, and like, man, and I even can tell, like, he gets sick very easy, you know, because his mom, I remember, like, overprotect him, like, no, keep it clean, don't touch the dirt, don't this. And here I am, me, touching everything and all that. My grandparents don't care. They care, but don't care, like, what I do. He was always protected. And then now he's always kind of like sick very easy, gets sick very easy. And there was one point where he's suffering, and they talk to him like, you just gotta try, man. Now he's trying his own business and all that.
Good for him.
I help him to like invest in this, invest that. He fell a couple of times, but I still helping him. But now I think he's better, you know. But I say, he's like, you're ahead of me. And I say, no, don't look at that way. We just like, you just take a little longer, but you will be there, you know. So he's starting his own business too, and even now more, because this open here and share with him, it motivates him. So he's like, hey man, I'm gonna do this, do that. Like, good for you, man. And I support him, but I can see myself with him.
Yeah.
He had mom and dad, and always a meal, always clean clothes, and always I have to do my laundry by hand. I have to play soccer and then go to work, and I have to go to work and then go play soccer, or I have to do the taekwondo and then work, and then it was hard, you know. But the meal makes you stronger. It
makes you stronger, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was waking up, because I moved down to Indiana, and I've said this a lot, but it was so much fun because I was down there and I sold a guitar amp to have $700 to move out of state with, to start a job at a company that I didn't know much about. And I remember I'm sicker than a dog. I'm sleeping in my car, and I get this Amber Alert at 6 a.m. because I'm like, okay, I'm doing this, you know. And Amber Alerts around here in Wisconsin, there's like one every 6 months. Like, it doesn't really happen, and when it does, it's like, oh, what happened?
Nice.
Down there, there's like 3 a day. So I'm woken up by this Amber Alert going off my phone, thinking I'm sleeping in my car. It's probably the ghetto or some like place that you don't want to be in the middle of the night. But I remember it was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life. Happier than I am now. It was just, I was couch surfing for 2 months because I didn't have enough money to get a place. I couldn't find a place, everything. And there's so much fun on the adventure. And it's a hell of a story to tell around the campfire.
Oh yeah, yeah. In the moment, sometimes you can have doubted and like, how am I gonna do this and all that. But those things motivate you to be here. You know, you don't know where you're gonna be, but like, you know what, I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna struggle when I do that. Yeah, trust me. Like when I work in 12 hours doing dishes, like, man, like my hands, like But you know, now we laugh about it, you know. That's like, oh man, all the things that we went through, and then they happen for a reason. What's the reason? Maybe make you stronger, and yeah, that's what I say. I'm gonna live a good memories when I'm all all the good memories, all the risks we take, all the stuff that make us stronger. Because with some points we had no money even to eat. You know, that's what I was working. As long as they feed me, I'm okay, because I have no money to eat.
Yeah,
I can buy anything, you know. So it's always a struggle, because in Mexico you might don't die either about being hungry, because you always go with here and the neighbor here or there. They will help you, but here I don't know anybody, and I don't know the language, so it was hard. It was hard in the beginning, but now I'm just laughing like, good thing I take this route. Good thing I take this chance, because I have 3 boys. I have a wife. I have 3 boys. I have all you guys, friends. This community have been supporting me good. Sometimes I don't realize that, but like a lot of people like us here, so I'm very thankful,
There's a lot of people,
and
like you said.
That's why I try to give back to the community, because they accepted us good, If I did something wrong, my opportunity to say, lo siento, I'm sorry.
I gotta say, when my parents had, I think it was the same doctor that delivered me and the 2 brothers underneath me. I think the 4th, Joey, was delivered by a different doctor, but the doctor said, he said, raise them like they're poor. He said, raise them like you don't have anything. Yeah. And it blew my mind. Growing up, I never really knew that we were not doing well or anything like that, but my mom ended up getting fired. Did you ever tell you this? No. So my mom ended up getting fired from a law firm. She was one of the top earners there. She was working there for a few years. Got the job right out of law school, worked her way up, was really successful there. And she's like, well, I'm thinking about maybe toying with the idea, because at the time, I won't say the name of the law firm, but every spring, their Q1, their first quarter, was cleaning up from the Christmas party in Q4, because they'd all get drunk and make promises to clients. So then the next 3 months, they're like trying to well, no, I can't really get you the house back in the divorce, So they go through with all this stuff. And my mom finally, she's like, I want to do my own thing. I'm the top earner here. I'd rather just make my own money. And somehow something got through the grapevine. I don't know what happened, but he ended up getting word of it, walked in and said, you're fired. And my mom just had another kid. I think there were 2 or 3 of us at the time. And my dad's staying at home because mom's working, and there's 3 kids. And now my parents lost everything. And my dad, of course, he was in construction, so we got a place pulled together. But I didn't know. I always heard the stories, but I didn't know that my parents were living borderline paycheck to paycheck. They were broke.
Yeah.
And my dad always raised me. I remember McDonald's or something. We'd go there. He's like, you don't get Happy Meals. It's like real men get McDoubles or something. So I always looked at them like, you know what? I'm getting a McDouble. No toys for me. And it's like, I don't know. I give that up to a lot of parents that, I mean, even the hard times, they don't take them out on their kids. Like you said, I mean, even if you're having a hard time in the business, you don't take it out on anybody. But it's, I mean, raising I'm not a parent that I know of yet. And I just look at a lot of this, and I think the kids, I'm very interested to see, because I think the next generation is so bright and brilliant, smart. And I think a lot of the gripes that people have to take with millennials or Gen Zs, I think this next generation is going to be incredible, because I like the kids I'm seeing coming up. They're ambitious. I mean, no generation's without their problems at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I got to say one more thing. I was doing student interviews at Mosinee High School, and they got in touch. They're like, hey, we need people to do this. Senior interviews. And I'm thinking, okay, some kid put together some school project, whatever. I wasn't thinking anything of it. And I go there, and the first kid sits down, and he's like, well, I want to be an electrician. I'm like, okay, what are you thinking? He walks me through it, but what blew my mind was there was this girl that sat down. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but she just goes, everything she was talking, the way she was talking, everything. This 18-year-old girl, I swear, had more potential than most people I run into in any day. And it wasn't just her, the other kids had insane potential. And I'm blown away. I think I'm very hopeful and optimistic, where a lot of people, I think down the line, are saying, well, things are getting bad. And we've had conversations before, but I think there's so much potential in the world, and I'd be interested to see in 10 to 15 years how great everything is.
Yeah. There's a lot of smart people. I think they're born more smarter than us, and they have a lot more things easy for them, technology and all that, so it should be more easy.
Yeah.
It's getting ahead. We, especially me and my generation, it's a little bit more hard.
Yeah.
Now it's a little more easy. You find information more easy. You find help more easy. Things more smooth. So it's gonna be better in the future for the kids.
Yeah, let's do some tequila.
Salud.
Salud. Not bad.
That's good. All right, Donnie. Once again,
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you sitting down.
No, my pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Betcha.